Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be part 2 of my How to Crochet for an Absolute Beginner series. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to read a yarn label, as well as how to do a slip knot and a starting chain. So obviously all three of these things are very important to learn how to do, because pretty much every project starts with a slip knot and a starting chain. With the exception of a few things, but for the most part, you're going to be using a starting chain and a slip knot very often. And then also, how to read a yarn label is very important, because you're going to need to know how many yards you're going to need for your project. You're going to need to know the yarn size and the hook size, and all these things can be found on a yarn label. And I'm also going to show you just a few different examples of some different types of yarn. So I hope you all enjoy this and it helps you as you begin your crochet journey. And if you haven't already, please check out part 1. And so let's get started. Oh, but first, I need to say this. Today is my first video in doing an overhead shot. So I'm obviously very new to YouTube, and I'm still learning as I go, and so hopefully the quality on this overhead filming setup is going to be good, but obviously as time goes on it will get better, so please bear with me if it's not perfect, but I'm going to try my best. So let's get started. Hey guys, so as I was editing this video, I realized that some of the footage of the yarn labels was a bit blurry. And so, as I said in that first clip, I am very new to YouTube and I'm filming on my phone, and I'm using a new overhead setup and filming overhead for the first time. So I knew there was going to be a few things that I would need to tweak as time goes on, but I am going to I found some settings that worked better for showing the labels, so I am going to insert a little video in the top corner when I'm showing each label that will be more clear so you can see it better. I think the part where I'm doing the slip knot and the chain is decent quality, but I will definitely use the other settings next time that I film in the next part, in part 3. So it may not be as crisp. It's definitely not as crisp and clear as I would like it to be, but I believe you can still see pretty well what I'm doing. Well, I mean, you can see well what I'm doing. It's just not as clear as I want it to be, because I want it to be as close to perfect as possible. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on here real quick and let you know that I was going to be putting the little videos in, and that the quality of the next video should be better. So, but anyway, I hope you guys still enjoy. So now let's officially get started. Okay, so here are a few examples of some different sizes and types of yarn. So let's start with this one here. Move this out of the way. So this one is called the Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick, and if you turn the label, you can see that the first thing you want to look at, or the first thing that I always look at, is what size the yarn is. So it will tell you right here, it is a super bulky number 6 yarn, and right beside that it's going to tell you what size knitting needles and what size crochet hook you should use. And so you can see for the knitting needles it is a 9mm, and for a crochet hook it is also a 9mm. Another important thing to look at on a yarn label is the blend of the fibers, and so for this one it is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. And another important thing is if this is machine washable, so you can see here it is machine washable and dryable. And then the next important thing that I always look at is the yardage. So you can see the ounces here in the grams. I usually just go by the yards, but it's 106 yards. There's also meters listed here. And one thing that's really neat about this label is it shows how many skeins of this yarn you will need to complete a certain project. So you can see for a scarf you would need 2, for a hat you would need 1, and for something like a sweater you would need 7. And so those are the main things that I look at whenever I am reading a yarn label. And also the color is going to be found here, and it's normally found near the barcode. And so you can see here the color is called Fisherman. Okay, so this is the super bulky. The next one I'm going to show you is the one that I said you should start out with if you are brand new to crocheting, and that is a 100% acrylic yarn, so you can see it says that right here. And by the way, this is the Lion brand Heartland yarn, which is very nice yarn. It actually is listed as a premium acrylic. And so right here you're going to see that it is a medium 4, and all pretty much, so another name for medium is worsted weight. And I was going to say that pretty much all 100% acrylic yarn is a 4. I could be wrong on that. Probably there's other sizes of yarn that are 100% acrylic, but I have found that most 100% acrylic is a size 4, and that is your standard yarn size, or weight as it is also called, that is used for many projects. And then here you can see the 251 yards. You can see the hook, the knitting needle and hook size, also that it is machine washable and dryable. And then if you turn down here, you can see the color, Mammoth Cave. So there's that one. And then the next one I want to show you is one of my favorite cotton yarns. This is from Hobby Lobby. It's the I Love This Cotton. It's really super soft, and they have so many different colors. And they also have some pictures here of kind of what this type of yarn will look like when it's worked up. But this one's a little different, so if you turn it, you can see that the name of the color isn't by the barcode, but it's right here, and it's called Emerald Pine. And 153 yards. Here's the hook, the knitting needle sizes and the hook sizes, and it is 100% cotton. And right there, really small, it shows you the weight, which is a size 4. And then the last one I have as an example today, this is also a cotton yarn. This is by Yarn Bee. You can also get this one at Hobby Lobby. And as you can see here, the color is on the front. This is soft gardenia. It also has the yards, so 335. And then if you turn it, you can see 100% cotton and the knitting needle and hook size. And the reason why I chose to show you all this one is to show you that it is a size 3, so this is a lightweight yarn. So you always want to pay attention to the fiber, so whether it be acrylic, cotton, wool, there's many different types of yarn. And then also you definitely want to pay attention to the weight. So with the Wool Ease, it was a size 6, super bulky. With the acrylic and the I Love This Cotton, it was a number 4. And then with this one, it is a number 3. And then you also definitely want to pay attention to your hook size or your knitting needle size, because all of these are very important whenever you are beginning a project. Okay, so let's move on to how to do a slip knot. Okay, so I have some 100% acrylic yarn. This is the Craft Smart brand from Michaels, and I have a size H 5mm crochet hook. These are what I recommend starting with, is just a 100% acrylic yarn and a 5mm hook. And so to make a slip knot, there are many different ways to make a slip knot. And I'm sure if you search how to make a slip knot on YouTube, everybody has sort of their own technique on how they do it. But the way that I do it, that I find very simple, is I take my yarn and I lay it over these 2 fingers and hold it in place with my thumb. And then I wrap the yarn around the fingers, and then whenever I cross it over, I make an X right at the edge of that pointer finger, and then I stick my hook under that first strand of yarn and grab the second one. I'm going to pull up a loop, and then I take my fingers out and hold both sides of the yarn and pull the hook up while pulling the strands down, and then you can let go at that point. And then this is going to be your tail end of the yarn, and this is your working part of the yarn. And so I just pull the working end, and that's going to tighten your slip knot. So let's do that again, and to untie it, you can just pull both sides of the yarn. Okay, so again, you're going to lay the yarn over your 2 fingers here, the pointer finger and middle finger. You're going to hold it in place with your thumb, and then you're going to wrap the yarn back around the fingers, creating an X on the side there, turning your fingers slightly towards you, sticking the hook under this strand, grabbing this strand, pulling it under and up, removing your fingers, grabbing these 2 strands and pulling up, pulling down with this hand while pulling up with the hook, and then pulling the working end up until it gets to meet the hook. Okay, so one more time, just in case. Laying the yarn over the pointer and middle finger, holding it in place with the thumb, wrapping it around into an X pattern, inserting the hook under that first strand, grabbing the second strand and pulling up, releasing your fingers there, pulling down while also pulling up to tighten the knot, and then just pulling on that working end to bring it up close to the hook. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just situate your yarn to where you can grab a hold of your working end as well as your tail. You want to keep the tail out of the way towards you so you can use your working end. And now this is where I should mention there are many different ways to hold a crochet hook. There are 2 ways to hold a crochet hook, but many different ways to hold your working yarn, and you just have to find what is most comfortable for you. So the ways to hold the hook are either in this way, which is the way that I hold it, or this way. And I have found that whatever you really learn doing is probably what you're going to stick with. And so since I don't hold my hook this way, I'm going to be teaching you holding it this way. But if you feel like this way may be more comfortable for you, then there are many tutorials online on how to, learn holding your hook this way. But I will be showing you using this style. And so then what I do is I hold my tail end of the yarn with my pinky and my thumb, while holding the working yarn between my pointer finger and my middle finger. Sometimes I also will take the yarn and wrap it once around my pointer finger and then hold it in between. But there are many different ways, so you could wrap it around, some people wrap it around their pinky and then hold it. I've seen some people weave it through their fingers like this. And there are also tools, or you can actually crochet a little thing to put on your finger here that will actually, you can thread your yarn through and it will hold the yarn for you, because the purpose of, you want to find what's comfortable for you, because tension is really important in crochet. And so the way that you hold your working yarn is going to give you either more or less tension. And so I would recommend just kind of playing around with that and seeing what feels right to you. But for me, I'm going to wrap it around my pointer finger and then hold it between these 2 fingers while holding my tail with my pinky and thumb. And then to do a chain, what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook, you're going to bring it around that strand of yarn, or just, pull that strand of yarn over your hook, and then you're going to turn your hook to grab that yarn, and you're going to pull it through that loop. Now, if you hold too much tension, if you put too much tension on the yarn, it's going to be hard to get your hook into that loop. And you also don't want to do it too loose, because it's not going to be right for your project. You want to try to get the right tension. And now this does take practice, and so the best thing is just going to be to keep making a chain until you feel comfortable, and making it until it's not too loose and too tight. But again, I'm going to show you. So you're going to put the yarn over the hook, turn the hook to grab the yarn, and pull it through. And whenever I do this, I do kind of pull down with my, and now I'm actually holding it with my 4th finger. So when I first start, I hold it with these, and you'll find what works for you. Just whatever feels comfortable, just so you can hold and keep hold of this yarn to make it easy to insert your hook into the loop. And so again, you're gonna put the yarn over the hook, turn your hook, and pull down to kind of open that loop and pull it through. So you can see now you can count your chains here. It is 1, 2, 3 so far. So whenever you begin a project, you will it will tell you how many starting chains you will need for that project. So like all blankets and washcloths and you know, cardigans or sweaters, all those things are going to start with the starting chain. And so it will tell you, you know, you need to chain 30 or 100 or however many. And so you will begin your project by making that many chains. So let me show you again. You're just going to wrap the yarn around the hook, turn it, and pull it through. And so now I'm going to do it a little faster and show you what it looks like at a normal speed. So once you get the hang of it, you will easily be able to make chains. And as your chain gets longer, you're going to want to move your fingers up, and so you can get a hold of it, you know, keep the tension right. And you can just continue to make your chains. I found that I can make 3 or 4 chains before I need to move my fingers up. And again, all the while you are holding your yarn in whatever way feels comfortable, where you have the correct tension. And you're just going to continue to make your chains until it's as long as you want. And then here you can see the chains. And so what I do to count them is I count these top little humps here. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you won't count the chain that is on the hook in that moment. Okay, so that is how to do a slip knot and a starting chain. If you need to, you can, you know, pause the video and practice a little bit, and then you know, go back and watch it as many times as you need to until you get it. But I promise it does feel awkward when you first begin. And like I said in part 1, one of the hardest things that I have found in learning how to crochet is just getting over the awkwardness of holding the hook in the yarn, because it's not a natural movement, or it's not a natural thing when you've never crocheted before. And so learning how to hold your hook in a way that's comfortable for you, as well as how to hold your working yarn and your tail yarn in a way that's comfortable for you, it can take a little bit of trial and error and a little bit of time, but I promise you that with practice it will get easier and it will become natural to you, where it feels right and you really don't think about it anymore. It just, your muscle memory takes over and it becomes natural. So I really hope that this helps you all. You know, learning to crochet was an amazing thing for me, and I learned off YouTube myself, and it was such a great tool for me. And so I just want to give back the love and hopefully teach others how to crochet as well. And so yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon for part 3, where we will learn how to do the single crochet stitch. So looking forward to that, and I hope you all are as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.